everyone, it's me, Ava. If you've ever poured your soul into building a dream business, your own wedding planning empire, every detail crafted with love, only to have your ex-husband steal it, sell it without a word, and then parade around as the genius founder, while you were left with nothing but debt and broken trust, then this story is going to make your heart race and then explode with satisfaction. This is my revenge recall. How my ex-husband forged documents, sold my wedding planning company under my name for millions, claimed it as his own success story, and left me broke and humiliated. How I vanished with my daughter, rebuilt from absolute zero, turned my pain into a rival empire, and came back to expose him live on stage at his biggest event, with every contract, every bank transfer, every lie projected for the world to see. I was 30 when he stole my dream. Let's go back to the day my world collapsed. I started Ever After Events in my tiny apartment when I was 25. No investors, no loans, just me, a notebook, and a passion for making weddings magical. I planned my first event for a friend. Intimate, elegant, full of personal touches. Word spread. Clients came. I quit my day job, rented a small office, hired one assistant. By 28, Ever After was doing $2.5 million a year. Luxury weddings, destination celebrations, the kind of events that made brides cry happy tears. My ex, Ethan, was supportive. He handled the business side, contracts, vendors, finances. I trusted him completely. We got married, had our daughter Lily. I thought we were partners in life and business. Then the signs appeared. He started pushing for big growth. We need investors, Ava. We need to sell while it's hot. I resisted. I wanted to keep it ours, keep the soul in it. He got angry, started working late, stopped asking my opinion. One night, I found emails on his laptop, sale agreements for Ever After Events. My name as sole owner, his signature as authorized representative. The buyer, a massive corporate wedding conglomerate. Price, $15 million. I confronted him that same night in our living room, Lily asleep upstairs. Ethan, you're selling my company? Behind my back. He didn't even look ashamed. It's our company, Ava. You're too sentimental to see the big picture. They offered $15 million. We'd be set for life. You can start another little hobby business. I felt the floor disappear. But it's my name, my brand, my vision. You forged my signature. He shrugged. You were too busy with Lily. I did what was best for the family. The sale closed 2 weeks later. The money went into his new account. He told everyone he built and sold Ever After Events. Media called him the wedding industry visionary. I was erased. No credit, no money, no say. The family backed him. Ethan's the businessman. You're too emotional, Ava. My best friend, who knew everything, stayed silent. My own mother said, maybe it's for the best. You can move on. I broke. I packed one bag for me, one for Lily. Drove through the night to a different state. Changed our names. Disappeared. The first 3 years after discovering the fraud were a brutal, soul-crushing fight for survival and sanity. Mila was only 4, a tiny girl with big brown eyes that looked too old for her age. Every morning she asked the same heartbreaking question. Mommy, why doesn't Daddy live in the big house anymore? Can we go back? I didn't have answers that didn't hurt. I told her half-truths. We're on a new adventure now, baby. Just you and me. But inside I was screaming. I moved us to a completely different city. A gray, industrial place 2 states away, where no one knew our names. I rented the cheapest 1-bedroom apartment I could find, a dingy place on the 3rd floor of a crumbling building. The walls were thin. I could hear the neighbors arguing, the pipes groaning, the baby downstairs crying at 3 a.m. The kitchen was barely big enough for one person. The bathroom had black mold in the corners, and the mattress on the floor smelled like cigarette smoke from the previous tenant. I couldn't afford anything better. My credit was destroyed, 450 score. Maxed cards, late payments, collections calling every day. I was unemployable in any decent job. Banks laughed at me. Landlords rejected me. I was trapped. I worked 3 jobs at first. Mornings, data entry for a remote call center, typing numbers into spreadsheets until my eyes burned. Afternoons, stocking shelves at a discount grocery store, lifting boxes heavier than Mila. Evenings, waitressing at a greasy diner, smiling through shifts while my feet bled in cheap shoes. I came home at midnight, smelling like fryer oil and bleach, collapsed on the floor beside Mila's bed, so she wouldn't wake up alone. We ate ramen, canned beans, day-old bread from the store. I skipped meals so she could eat. I cried in the shower so she wouldn't hear. Depression wrapped around me like chains, thick, heavy, unbreakable. Some days I couldn't get out of bed. I stared at the ceiling, wondering if this was all my life would ever be. But Mila kept me breathing. She started drawing pictures, houses, flowers, me and her holding hands, and selling them to neighbors for $1. "Mom, we can buy a house again," she'd say, eyes bright with hope. It broke my heart and mended it at the same time. She reminded me of what I was fighting for. I started fighting legally. I found a lawyer who specialized in identity theft, a fierce woman named Rachel who took my case pro bono at first because she'd been through something similar. We filed a police report for fraud, got all credit reports frozen, started the long, agonizing process of disputing every single charge, every loan, every late payment. The banks fought back hard. "You co-signed," they said. "You're liable." I had proof, handwriting analysis showing the signatures weren't mine, timestamps on documents proving Daniel filed everything from his office computer, IP logs linking it to his address. It took 18 months of endless paperwork, court dates, depositions, and sleepless nights. I lost weight, lost hair, lost hope some days. But the evidence mounted. The police opened a criminal investigation. Daniel was served. He denied it at first. It was a misunderstanding. Then he blamed me. She knew. She agreed. Then he begged, "Sophia, don't do this. We're family. Think about Mila." I didn't stop. While the legal war raged, I rebuilt in secret. I started a small graphic design side hustle, logos, social media graphics, freelance work for local businesses. I used the library Wi-Fi, worked on my old laptop until it died, bought a used one with my first $200 profit. Every dollar went to legal fees and a tiny emergency fund. I learned credit repair inside out, disputed inaccuracies, negotiated settlements, rebuilt my score point by point. From 450 to 620, then 680, then 720. It was slow. It was painful, but it was mine. Year 3. The criminal case stuck. Daniel was charged with identity theft, wire fraud, forgery. He took a plea deal, probation, restitution, community service. The civil case followed. I won a judgment for $750,000 plus damages and punitive fees. He had to sell the house. The money came slowly, monthly payments, garnished wages, asset liquidation. I didn't spend a cent on luxury. I invested every dollar wisely. Index funds, real estate crowdfunding, small business loans for other scam victims. I launched Credit Reclaim, an anonymous blog and podcast about fighting identity theft, rebuilding credit, protecting yourself from family fraud. Followers grew fast. People shared stories. Brands reached out. I monetized carefully courses, consulting, affiliate links. By year 4, Credit Reclaim was a full business, $1.2 million in revenue. I hired my first team, 2 women who'd also been victims of family fraud. Moved us into a small house I bought cash, nothing fancy, but ours. No more thin walls. No more mold. No more fear. I never stopped watching Daniel. He lost the house. Lost the marriage. Lost the perfect life. His social media went quiet. Last I heard, he was living in a studio apartment, working retail, paying me monthly. I waited for the right moment. Daniel announced a relaunch, a new motivational podcast about second chances and building from nothing. Live event in our old city. Tickets sold out. He was speaking as the entrepreneur who overcame hardship. I bought the venue. Anonymously. through a shell company. The day of the event, I walked in with my lawyer and a folder. The stage was set. Daniel in a suit, smiling for the cameras, about to give his keynote. How I built my life back after loss. I stepped onto the stage uninvited. The crowd murmured. Daniel turned. His smile froze. Sophia? I smiled back. Actually, it's the woman whose credit you stole to buy your dream house. And today, I'm here to set the record straight. I connected my laptop to the screen, projected the evidence, forged documents, bank transfers, court judgments, police reports, everything. The room went dead silent. Then gasps. Phones up. Live chat exploding. I spoke calmly. 5 years ago, this man stole my identity, took out $750,000 in loans in my name, bought this mansion, and let me discover it when the bank denied my business loan. He lied. He forged. He ruined my credit. But I fought. I won. And now the truth is public. I turned to the audience. I rebuilt. I launched Credit Reclaim, helping thousands fight identity theft. And today, I own this venue through legal acquisition. Daniel's event is canceled. Permanently. The crowd erupted. Cheers. Tears. Phones recording. Daniel stood frozen. Security moved in, but this time they were my security. The comeback wasn't a fight. It was truth, undeniable, public, absolute. And it felt like the most liberating moment of my life. The boardroom meeting day was the culmination of 5 years of silent warfare, the air thick with the scent of old leather and fresh panic. The Langford headquarters boardroom hadn't changed. Dark mahogany table, Dad's portrait glaring down, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city he'd conquered. Marcus sat at the head, presenting quarterly results, declining occupancy, excuses about market headwinds, the same slide deck recycled for years. Ethan beside him, nodding along. Executives around the table sipping coffee, bored. I walked in unannounced at 9:05 a.m., right after the agenda item, CEO update. Security had my name on the list now. Heels silent on the carpet. Marcus looked up mid-sentence. Evelyn? This is a closed board meeting. Security. I took the empty chair at the opposite end, the one no one ever dared sit in. Smiled. Actually, it's an open shareholder meeting now. I called it. The room froze. Ethan's coffee cup paused halfway to his mouth. I slid the thick folder down the table. It stopped perfectly in front of Marcus. Share certificates. Proxy votes. 52.1% ownership. Verified by the transfer agent this morning. Marcus flipped pages frantically, face turning purple. This is impossible. Fraud. You don't have. My lawyer, the top corporate litigator in the state, stepped in behind me. All filings are public record. Ms. Langford controls the majority. Meeting called to order. I stood. First order of business. Election of new board. I read the nominees, my people. Industry veterans, tech disruptors, sustainability experts. Votes cast via proxy, swift, mechanical. My slate elected unanimously by my shares. Second order. Removal of current officers. Marcus Langford and Ethan Langford are relieved of all duties, effective immediately. Compensation packages terminated. Company direction changes, starting today. Marcus slammed the table. You can't do this. Dad built this for us. You're destroying his legacy. I met his eyes, voice calm as a locked spreadsheet. Dad built this for excellence. You destroyed the legacy by ignoring the future. No digital upgrades, no guest experience, zero innovation. I'm saving it. Ethan finally spoke, voice cracking. You were always too soft for this. How did you even? By being smarter than you thought, I said. While you coasted on Dad's name, I worked. Quietly, patiently, compounding. Security entered. Polite but firm. Marcus and Ethan escorted out. No shouting. Just the door closing with finality. I sat in the chairman's seat. The new board applauded. The comeback wasn't loud. It was legal, calculated, absolute, and it felt like the highest return I'd ever modeled. The months after the boardroom takeover felt like the final line of a balance sheet I'd been balancing for years. Every entry reconciled, every debt collected, the bottom line in black. The leaked video of my entrance and the vote went viral in business circles. Hundreds of millions of views. Dissected on CNBC, Harvard case studies titled The Silent Majority, viral LinkedIn posts of my brother's faces draining of color. Hashtag Evelyn Takeover trended in finance groups for weeks. My personal net worth crossed 9 figures as the stock soared on the new direction. Messages came in by the thousands. Women in corporate who'd been passed over finally negotiating board seats, daughters excluded from family businesses building their own funds, young analysts saying, "You made me invest quietly until I owned the room." Some stories hit hardest. A woman sent her new C-suite contract. "Because of you, I stopped letting my brothers manage my career." Another shared her daughter's first investment account. Generational wealth, but earned this time. I read them during late-night reviews. Theo asleep, tears blurring the quarterly reports as I realized how many futures I'd helped fund. The company exploded under my leadership, pivoted to AI-driven guest experience, sustainable luxury, partnerships with global giants. Revenue tripled in 2 years. Marcus and Ethan's attempts to sue? Dismissed. Their reputations? Toxic. No board would touch them. Marcus showed up at my headquarters 8 months later. No appointment. Looking broken in an off-the-rack suit. "Evelyn, you took everything. Dad's company. Our name. Theo thinks we're failures. Was destroying us worth your revenge?" Theo was in the innovation lab next door, presenting his school project on hotel tech to interns. For a second the old, too soft label flickered. Then I remembered every ignored idea, every patronizing protect her comment, every night I invested alone while they spent Dad's money. "No, Marcus," I said, voice steady as a locked balance sheet. "You destroyed us the day you decided I wasn't worthy of Dad's legacy." "I didn't destroy the company. I saved it from you and made it worth more than you ever could." He had nothing left. Security escorted him out. Years have passed now. The company is valued at over $5 billion, industry leader in boutique sustainable luxury. My name on the building. Theo's in college on a scholarship he earned, interning with me summers, proud of a mom who turned exclusion into equity. We live powerfully quiet, modern home I paid cash for, every decision mine. My mother visits sometimes, silent about the past. Marcus and Ethan work mid-level jobs, low profile. They see Theo occasionally, neutral coffee shops, polite. People still ask in interviews or comments, "Do you regret the takeover? Was it revenge?" I always give the full return. It wasn't revenge. It was reallocation. Reallocation of capital, control, and credit from people who thought family meant protecting me from power. The moment I stopped letting them undervalue my potential, I gave every overlooked daughter, every soft woman, every person cut from the will permission to buy a seat at the table, majority stake, full voting rights. If you're watching this and you've been cut out, called too soft, told the empire isn't for you, hear me. You can disappear quietly. You can invest small, one share, one skill, one boundary. You can compound until your ownership is undeniable. Your voice is the deciding vote. And when you do, you'll realize the only weak investment was ever letting them decide your worth. That's my recall. Not inherited, just calculated, acquired, and finally mine. Thank you for listening. If this hit home, share a reclaimed stake below. Someone needs to know they can buy it back too. See you in the next one.